solve the equation 1 half minus x plus 3 halves equals x minus 8. Now, before we get started, what is the goal of solving an equation? Well, the goal, it helps us to remember that the goal is x equals a number. We want x isolated altogether, all the variable terms that contain x on one side, whether it be the left side or the right side of an equation. And the numbers all combined together on the left side if we have x on the right side, making sure that the x coefficient, the number part of the variable term x, is a positive 1 before we're done. So that's our goal. Right now x's are on both sides and we've got numbers on both sides of the equal sign. So the first thing we should probably think of doing, because I see two fractions here that can be combined, so we're basically just performing PEMDAS. Anything that's combinable or simplifiable needs to be combined. It's just a good practice. So 1 half plus 3 halves, the denominators are the same, so we can just combine those by adding the numerators. 1 plus 3 over 2, and that becomes 4 halves. 4 halves, of course, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the left side of this equation, if we just use this as like scrap paper, the left side of this equation now becomes, let me switch colors here. The left side of this equation becomes 2 minus x. These two fractions combined into this 2, and we have a minus x equals x minus 8. Sometimes combining the fractions makes all the fractions go away. So this was really fortuitous. The next thing we need to decide now is which side that we want to have the x's appear on. In my opinion, if we focus on the x's, the x is connected to 2. 2 and x are connected with subtraction, which limits our options on taking this x and doing something with it to eliminate it using addition or subtraction, because these two operations are compatible when two things are connected with subtraction, and we need to operate on one of the two characteristics on this left side. So what should we do to negative the opposite of x to make it disappear and become a 0? Add or subtract? It's add, because positive x is the opposite of negative. What we call negative x really the opposite of x, and it would make the x disappear. The advantage of adding x to the left side rather than subtracting x from the right side is that it keeps our x term positive, our x coefficient positive. 1x plus 1x, when we balance the equation, is 2x. We eliminated the x from the left side, balanced the equation by doing, what we do to one side of an equation, we do to the other, and we added the same 1x to the right side. So now what we have is 2 plus 0. It could be 2 minus 0. We're just copying all the symbols down that we haven't dealt with yet. 2 plus 0 is 2, or 2 minus 0 is still 2, equals 2x minus 8. Now what we need to do is, since all the x's are combined on the right side of this equation, we could consider moving the numbers to the left side. We have all the x's on the right side of this equation. Now we should move the numbers to the left. So I focus on this 8. I want to eliminate it. This is the first thing. You think about which side you want to eliminate a term from, and then decide, okay, here's this 8 is connected to the 2x with subtraction. Again, subtraction, only the two operations compatible with subtraction are add or subtract. We choose add because when we add 8 to negative 8, we get 0. That'll have the effect of eliminating the number from the left side, but then when we balance the equation out, we also add 8 to the left side to keep the equation in balance. 2 plus 8 is 10, equals, we haven't done anything with this 2x since the last time. 2x plus 0, or 2x minus 0, remains 2x. We now have 10 on the left side, and the only issue left now is that the number part of this variable term is a 2 instead of a 1. We need to make this 1 happen as part of our goal. How is 2 connected to x? Well, between a number and its variable, associated variable, there is multiply. What operations are compatible with multiply? Well, we can either use multiply or divide. These are the only two operations that are compatible at this time. Now add and subtract are off limits. What do we want to do? We don't want to turn 2 into a 0. We want to turn 2 into a positive 1. So if I multiply by 2, we get 4x. We always want to take this number and use it against itself somehow. We took this 8 and used it against itself. We took this x and we used it against itself. Now we're taking this 2 and we're using it against itself. Times is going to turn it into a 4. But divide, what's special about divide? Any number divided by itself makes positive 1. That's what we're after. So this is the right thing to do, because any number divided by itself makes a positive 1. And so what we did to one side to make this positive 1 happen, we're going to do to the other side of the equation to keep the equation in balance. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and it's positive. Now, I will leave the check step up to you. We should replace in the original equation, we should put 5 here and 5 here, and simplify to see if those both expressions simplify to the same number, which they will, because I've checked it for you separately. So we come to this set of answer choices and we select the correct response if this were a test or an exam.